it's not always about a higher income. I am thrilled when I can watch somebody do the business faster, more efficiently, so they can go out and live the life that they want to have. Like that should be rewarded in our industry. It is not acknowledged in our industry. I watch people take incredible amounts of vacation, and when they are working, they are masters, just fine-tuned. The clients trust them at the highest level they could ever trust them. They're not dealing with, oh my gosh, I can't get these guys to do what I want to do, because they developed a relationship where the people are like, we trust you, Matt. Whatever you say, we're in. You just tell us what we need to do, how we need to approach this. We know you're the guy with the answers.
Welcome back, everyone, to Life at 10 Tenths, where we inspire you to live at the pinnacle of your ability and purpose. I'm joined by my good friend, Garrett Fry. I'm Matt Benelli, and he is fueled by, what do you got there today? Is that a Celsius?
My family has switched me to Bloom, and I'm not sure.
Never heard of Bloom. I'm
not sure that Bloom is the answer for me, but it has no sugar, probably packed with artificial sweeteners. My kids were worried at the amount of Celsius I was drinking, and they, I think, probably swayed by TikTok and other social media influencers that said Celsius maybe isn't good for you. My house has been filled with Bloom, and I drink them begrudgingly.
There you go. I'm a coffee fan myself, although Form Energy from First Form, I've dabbled
turns into an ad.
In their energy drinks is pretty good. I mean, we could, if any of you guys are looking to sponsor, because we never really want to take sponsors in the real estate space. Seems like a conflict of interest. But hey, if there's an energy drink or something that we can have a little product placement for, I think I'd be down for that.
Just let us know. Yeah, let us know.
Be like, this beautiful Form.
We could get Yeti as I can get.
Well, now that we've bantered a little bit here, guys, welcome to the show. If it's your first time here, this isn't what we normally do. No, we're going to talk about things that help you grow, help you live well, and help you avoid burnout. That's one of the biggest things that Garrett and I have been talking about, of being on a mission on with Life at 10 Tenths, is how do we help people eliminate burnout from their world by creating alignment, right? A lot of the things that mismatch in our business and our life have to do with alignment. That's what we talk about in our group coaching program and all these things, which you can go check out at 10tenths.co. But it leads us into today's topic, Garrett, which you brought to the table of like, how many first years do you want to have? And one of the biggest things we see that this rut that happens has to do with this burnout, misalignment, and just kind of lack of vision. And so we're going to talk about it today.
Yeah, this comes up all the time in coaching, where we watch people that are like, I just don't want to have a year like I had before. And it's funny, if you just go back and be like, well, tell me about the year before that. Well, that was pretty similar to that year, and that one was pretty similar. It's like, well, what have you changed? Like, have you changed anything? Or are we just like continuing just to show up? And I think this is the trap that a lot of people get into, is that real estate's this interesting groove that you can get into, where you come in, you start doing some of the right stuff, you start producing some business, and then you stop doing the things that created the business. And then you go as long as that business will carry you. And then all of a sudden you go, oh crap, it's really quiet right now. Okay, what was I doing over here? Oh, that's right. I was sending postcards out. I was making phone calls. I was writing some notes. I had some committees I was involved with. I had to drop all that stuff because I got busy. And then it's like, all right, let's get that stuff going again. And we fire that up. And then all of a sudden we get a handful of transactions. It doesn't take very many when you are not always handling a whole lot to make you go, oh my gosh, I have so many things going on. I've got this inspection. I've got to get photography over here. I need to go meet with this client because they want to list their property. And our postcards stopped going out. Our phone calls stopped going out. Our handwritten notes stopped going out. I mean, you can see the cycle here. And it doesn't have to be extremes. And you end up with a year where you make maybe $100,000 and you go, you know what? It wasn't horrible, Matt. I mean, it wasn't horrible. I mean, I made $100,000. That's a decent income. It's good. It's not shooting for the moon in any way, shape, or form, but it's good. And we'll do better next year. And we do the exact same damn cycle. And that you can do for 20 years. You can make $100,000 to $150,000 every year, over and over and over again. And I will add this in, Matt. Some years you go, I made some more money. I must have done something right. And what people fail to do is look and go, home prices have gone up. Maybe there's other things that have happened in the marketplace. I'm actually selling at a higher price point. I didn't sell as many homes, but they were higher in volume. I hear that all the time. And yeah, we're never really changing all that much. And this business will allow you to make a decent income.
I think there's sometimes a luck factor too. Like, oh, I got an extra referral from a client, that year. Oh, I happen to have a lot of people who needed to buy and sell that year. What did I do differently to attract that? Maybe it's just something that was in your database that happened that year. Garrett,
I just want to add this in because I think this is also important to it also is that there's a weird thing that can happen where it's not bad enough to go find a new job, but it's also not bad enough to say, I need to figure this out to get better. It's like, you're like stuck. Right. You're stuck in this zone of like, I could stay here and make this kind of money. It would be great if I made a little bit more, but hey, this is better than maybe me going and doing something else. And you just get kind of like wedged in. That's all I wanted to add.
Yeah, I call that the bronze handcuffs instead of the golden handcuffs, where like the money is so good you can't leave it. It's the bronze handcuffs where it's like it's good enough, right? And I don't want to take the effort to like just break out of these things.
That's great. I'll take that.
I'm reminded of I don't know if it was a study or an anecdotal story that the author talked about in Thinking Fast and Slow, but about taxi cab drivers in New York, right? And talking about how they mostly have like the same year over and over again, right? And what's interesting, it's like, well, you also know when business will be better. And it's like, well, in theory, right, well, on the rainy days when the streets are packed and everybody wants a taxi cab, that's when cab drivers are going to work more. And those are the days where they do earn more by accident, so to speak. And then on the sunny days, they don't earn as much because there's not as many people who are flagging down a cab. And so what's interesting is that you would think that a cab driver would stay out and work more on those rainy days because they can make a lot more money on those days to make up for those days when they may not make as much. But what actually happens is they go home early on those days because they're like, well, I made my money for the day, because they take their goals and they chunk them down into what's my daily revenue requirement. And then on the days when it's nice out, which would actually be good days to take off, they end up working extra trying to look for that next fare because they need to hit that revenue mark for the day. And this happens to us as well. Gosh, it happens to me, right? And until you start really thinking outside of yourself, you can get stuck in these ruts, and it happens with real estate agents. Oh, well, I'm busy, right? And that's when they quit on other things. And I think whether you actually consciously make this choice or not, I think it would be really interesting for everybody to just kind of look inside and say, do I go home early, quote unquote, when it gets busy, which could be me leaving money on the table and preventing me from breaking free from having this first year over and over and over again?
I think it's an interesting mindset. Going back to the taxi cabs for a second, I was thinking about when I ran Ninja Coaching and we had all the coaches. We had 30 coaches. And I was overseeing all of them. And I remember talking with them every year when it came down to like the holidays. And they were like, in their mind, I have to do a certain amount of coaching hours every single week. This is how I'm going to get to them. When they took their annual year they wanted to have, when we did business planning with the coaches, they would divide that amongst 52 weeks for the year. And they were like, okay, to get there, I have to do this many hours per week. And all of a sudden you come up to the holiday time. And I used to tell them, scrap those 2 weeks. Just let them go. Like let them go. Because you're going to think, just like the taxi cab driver going like, I've got to hit my number, so I'm just going to keep driving around looking for something. They would go, I'm going to see if I can fit in as many calls as I possibly can. Everybody would cancel. Pretty much routinely, every single person would cancel. It took me 5 years to learn this. 5 years out of 20 years. So for 15 years, I just canceled those 2 weeks and just like, whatever, guys, go play. I'm going to go play. I don't work those last 2 weeks. But I remember all the newer coaches coming in going like, oh, no, not me. I'm going to pack those weeks full of coaching calls. And it's like, no. It's like, understand when the business is here, understand when the people want your services, and understand when you can actually go and have time off and enjoy that time off. But a lot of this is just learning your business. And I think like when you talk about having your first year in the business over and over and over again, I think a lot of people need to kind of step back and say, okay, well, what are my systems that grow this thing, and when are the right times to be doing these certain systems. If you look at your, depending on where you live in the United States, there are certain times when it is snowing and cold and nasty outside, and there are certain times when it's brilliant and beautiful and everybody goes, oh my gosh, spring has sprung. Everybody's out. Everybody wants to communicate. They want to talk. They want to do all this stuff. And it's funny how some people, when they're looking at setting their systems up, setting their schedules up, Matt, they don't lean into that. They almost look at like these people are naturally going to come to me. And I look at it as like, if you're running a business and you want to grow this thing, that would be the best time to be like, I'm throwing all my energy out here into the world. These are my weeks that I'm going to be on the phone like nobody's business. I'm going to be connecting with people about their plans for the summer. I'm going to be connecting with them about all the cool stuff they've got going on in their life, building these relationships. And I think a lot of people kind of sit back. They don't have a good plan. And to get out of your first year, you need to start building a plan, understanding your business, and start scheduling in these things that are non-negotiables, the stuff that's going to grow your business and take you to the next level. And we forget about that sometimes. And we just get stuck in this almost looking. We did a podcast, Matt, one time about looking far enough off the front of the car when you're driving. If you want to go fast, you got to look way down the road. I just did a track day the other day with my friend, and I said, I want you to try this when we're out on the track. Look as far ahead as you possibly can. I want you, like when we're coming through this certain corner, I said, don't look in front of the car at all. Look out your driver's side window, way around the bend to the little yellow marker on the corner. And I want you to see how much faster you can go through the corner. And we got back after being on the track for 20 minutes and he goes, oh my gosh. I picked up so much speed through that corner, looking way, way, way out where I'm not even driving yet. And to grow in this business, you can't be looking just at today and my schedule today, my schedule this week. How many people, Matt, for you, when you're coaching them and you're trying to get them to build a schedule and build a routine schedule, they're like, oh yeah, it's built out for the next 2 weeks. I'm like, well, what if we built it out for the full year? Like, what if we had a schedule that was just your schedule, not a new one we make every 2 weeks, hoping that we're going to get there? And then how often do you get busy? And it's like, crap, I didn't make a schedule this week. Well, this week's a wash. I'll do better next week.
Man, all the time, right? And I think this gets into the vision component of this is if you want to break free from the first year I don't want to like shame people for having this first year over and over again for a period of time. As you said, Garrett, it took you 5 years to figure out the end of the year thing. Myself, like I've had the first year over and over in different forms too, because sometimes that first year happens with, I need to change something. And then we're constantly changing, which then has us resetting back to zero sometimes. But when you really dig into it and you understand it and you analyze and look at, well, where am I trying to go? Am I looking far enough down the road at what I am trying to achieve? What is that vision? What's that North Star? Who is the person that I'm becoming? What is the life that I am building? And so I can have more clarity on what I need to be doing today, which then shows the importance of having that schedule built out. It shows the importance of having the routine and having the ability to also adapt with seasonality that happens in our world and our lifestyles and in the marketplace, right? So we can maximize our potential when it's there, right? I know we do have several people, and I think there's a lot of you who are listening are like, yeah, like spring market, I go all in. And I would ask you to ask yourself, what does all in really mean? Does it mean just doing your systems at, 100%? Like, hey, I'm doing all the things that I said I would do. I'm hitting my standard, right? Or do you need to exceed your standard during the spring market time, right? And everybody's going to be different. And I'm not saying you can't make money in the winter markets or things like that. Of course you can, right? But if you have that core vision, Garrett, I think it gets easier to then see where you want to go, which then helps you emphasize the skill sets that you want to build, because there are certain things that we do need to do repetitiously. Because I also find that first years happen over and over again when we're not acknowledging or improving the skill set that is helping us drive our business. Because arguably, if you do the same thing year over year, many years in a row, you should be getting better at that thing, which means you should be more efficient, which means that the same amount of time input should yield more results on the other side. And if it's not, we're not learning something.
But
right?
here's an interesting thing though, Matt. Like when you look at like real estate in general, let's say average realtor, I mean, what is the average realtor's transaction number right now? Just take average realtor.
Oh, I could look at the NAR report, but it's probably around 6.
Okay, so let's say you do 6 transactions a year. That's 1 every 2 months. Every 2 months.
And that's for transacting agents. We're like, wait a minute, the stat that says 70% didn't do a single deal. It's like, we're not worried about them.
But I'm just saying, let's just say for again, on the high side, then if 70% didn't do a transaction to just appease that number.
I think this is probably good. And I'll look up the profile.
Let's just say every 2 months you do a transaction. Every 2 months you sit down and you do a listing presentation. Let's say every 2 months you sit down and you do a buyer's packet, maybe every 2 months. And maybe it's even farther than that. Maybe it's every 4 months then. Maybe every 4 months you get to do a listing presentation. And in between there, every 4 months you get to do a buyer's presentation. You wonder why it takes you a really long time to get good when the only times you're getting to practice is in real persons, let's say, is once every month. Even if we gave it that, every month you get to do a listing presentation. That means there is 30 days in between you ever sitting down and going, okay, so where do I pull that data stat? Okay, I need to do this. I'm going to grab this stat over here. Like to get really good at something, you need to do it a lot. And we talk about don't practice on your clients. And unfortunately, this is, I think, where again, a lot of people kind of have their first year over and over and over again, is because the repetition of these big transactions is too far apart. And we really don't get a chance to master that moment when we're doing a listing presentation, because that next listing presentation may be 3 weeks, 4 weeks away. And we're never really going, I'm going to crush it. I did it today. I know it was good. It was good, but we're going to do it better next time. I'm going to go back to the racetrack for a second, Matt, because when we do the race days or the track days, we just were at Laguna Seca, and you get 5 sessions every day for 20 minutes. And the first time you go out, you're all over the place. You're missing your turns. You're like, if you had a coach in the car, they would just sit there and go, why are you over here? Why are you on this side of the track right now? You're like, I don't know why I'm over here. Like, you got to like,
I turned the steering wheel, but the car just went over here.
Well, and sometimes you're just in the straightaway and you're like, you feel like you're in a good spot. And he's like, you're not set up for the next corner. Like, you need to be way over there if you want to go through the next corner fast. And so you're constantly learning and you got less than 2 minutes, you're back at start finish again, and you're back again. So for a 20-minute time period, you're going to get about 10 laps in. So you go out for your first session, you get about a 40-minute break. Then you go out for your second session, you get about a 40-minute break. You go out for your third session, about a 40-minute break. Both my friend and I, after the first day, 5th session, we were exhausted. We were making the worst decisions. We had taxed every bit of our mental capacity we possibly could. We were all over the place. You'd think you'd be faster at the end of the day, and we were burnt out. I said to myself, you can hear me on camera because I recorded all my sessions, going, if you screw another turn up like that again, go park the car before you crash the car. Like that was my rule I gave myself. The next day, first thing in the morning, we went out again, and it was some of my fastest laps, most consistent laps, hitting marks, like boom, 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 next corner, hit them all. And that's the difference of like, that's a 2-day time period over doing the same damn thing over and over and over and over again. And that's the hard part is in this business is we don't get that type of repetition to take it and smash it out of the park and be like, look at how much better this one was than that one was, because you can't see it a month apart. You can't see it 2 months apart. And so I really resonate, Matt, with what you said is there's a skill set side to this also.
Well, and that will get people thinking, gosh, well, like, I don't want to do 30 transactions a year. You know, that's whatever it is. And I think this gets into the element of like, we never put practice into our routines, right? We shy away from practice. And because I'm looking at the member profile here and they don't have the median number of residential deals. They have the median number of, median number of residential deals is here, 10. That's actually pretty strong, right? Yep. Whereas 27% though are in that 1 to 5 range.
And 70% never did a transaction at all.
This is where we brought this up. It was like, well, if the NAR member profile shows 5% never doing a deal, that's interesting. But the thing is you add it. This is, I think, where I don't know why I didn't see this before. Commercial sides. Well, anyway, never mind. I'm going to come.
We're going to go in the weeds.
That is going to pull us off track. But what I want to highlight here is that people say, well, I need more opportunities then to learn. It's like, no, we can set up practice because like you have a track day. You weren't in a racing situation. I think about athletics, right? Running, right? People who run marathons may run 1, maybe 2 marathons a year, right? Well, they're not waiting for the next marathon to be like, hey, did I get better? There's practice that happens each day, each week in helping to improve. And there's metrics that are in there. Now, yes, you cannot necessarily measure your listing consultation performance with numbers through practice, so to speak. Like, I don't know if a seller would have said yes or hired me or what would have happened, but you can hone the skill. Yep. And if we hone the skill, and this is where vision and your routine come together, right? If we have the vision of where we're going to go, we have clarity on what we got to do, and then we can actually amplify that skill so that we can deploy it. And so even if we're still going to just focus in on doing 10 deals a year, let's say, but we're going to do them the best that we possibly can, so that then the hours work start to shrink and lifestyle expands, because so many people will look at that monetary result, Garrett, and say, well, look, I'm having the same income year over year over year. If that's what you want, great, but something should be improving in the metrics year over year to indicate that, hey, we're not having that first year over and over again. Well, and practice is a core element.
That's an interesting point because, and this is where I've differed with some strategies in the past where it's like, it's not always about a higher income. I am thrilled when I can watch somebody do the business faster, more efficiently, so they can go out and live the life that they want to have. Like that should be rewarded in our industry. It is not acknowledged in our industry. I watch people take incredible amounts of vacation, and when they are working, they are masters, just fine-tuned. The clients trust them at the highest level they could ever trust them. They're not dealing with, oh my gosh, I can't get these guys to do what I want to do, because they developed a relationship where the people are like, we trust you, Matt. Whatever you say, we're in. You just tell us what we need to do, how we need to approach this. We know you're the guy with the answers. There's a difference in being that person and then fighting with your client all the way through because you haven't given them enough information. You haven't set them up so that they feel comfortable. And now they're second guessing everything. And then you're working 3 times as hard just trying to make it through that transaction, where both Matt and I would love it if, I stayed with my 10 transactions I did for the year, but I did them so efficiently, which allowed me to be at every one of my kids' games. It allowed me to go travel to, Mexico and over to Italy. And then I got to go over here. I got to see the world. I would much rather be able to celebrate that. And if that's the growth you're having, that's an amazing thing. You go, I can't leave the track stuff for a second, Matt, but you brought it up, which is if I went, and let's say we go back to Laguna Seca and I'm there for a race day, and that is my only chance I get to improve myself at that track. And I'm like, wow, I can't wait for the next race so I can put some more laps in on that track and see if I'm better. I will never be at the front of the pack of all those racers that are on that track if that's how I approach that every single time. If I take the time in between to put myself on that track in mock scenarios, every time we're doing a track day like that, I am tracking every single lap. Now, I don't have the system, but my friend has the system where it shows him where he brakes, where he accelerates. It shows him exactly where he is on a digital map on the track, so he can see how far he went out, where his lines were and everything. It's pretty wild. That's the kind of stuff that is this mock scenario that you create for yourself that allows you to get faster and faster and more efficient and better. And it's the stuff that makes your peers all of a sudden come around you and go, how? How are you doing this? How are you making this all happen? How do you attract in that type of business? Well, I'm just that damn good. I have practiced and practiced and practiced that I create results that make people go, how? And you will find people on the track. I've put myself in cars with people on the track that I walk away going, that was unbelievable. I have no idea how you got that car to go that fast around that track, and you have 100 less horsepower than me. I don't understand it. And they will say, I have practiced and I have practiced. And when you start talking to them and they're like, this is my mark, this is my next mark, this is my next mark. The gentleman I went out with on the track, I said, can you just tell me where your eyes are at? Tell me what you're looking at. When we come around a corner, say, I'm looking here, I'm looking here, I'm looking here. And he started calling out reference points for me. And I should probably do a video, Matt. I should take one of those videos of one lap and just like be like, this is what it means to know, like really understand. It's not just turning the wheel. It's not just pushing the accelerator. It's not just pushing the brakes. There's so much more going on. And that's the same for all of you guys. Everything that you want to do at a high level, there's nuances that make it amazing, but you got to practice.
Which I will say, to kind of like pull this together of like, okay, how do we break free from this first year? Because we talked about a lot of things, but it's leaning into one of those things. Hey, what is the one thing that I need to lean into for the next 3 to 6 months to just improve upon so that then I can build on that? Because if we're constantly changing, like I've done, I mean, I have a very, like, I love starting businesses. So like, I'm like, ooh, here's a new thing that we can do. Here's a new thing we can do, which I have to be careful of that. And I acknowledge that. And same thing in real estate. If you're like, oh, I'm trying a new strategy, trying a new marketing thing, give something 3 to 6 months, improve on that thing, develop that thing. It's a skill set. Maybe it's an optimization, whatever it is. That's going to help you start to then build and break free from having this first year over and over again, because that first year over and over again is you feeling it. And like, you know it if you feel it. Don't look at just at the results as the indication. Although if you feel like you're trying different things and the results aren't changing, then yeah, you are having that first year over and over again. And something either needs to stay the same or something does need to change, which is usually something in our mindset and our approach to something that already exists that probably could stay the same. If that makes sense, Garrett.
And more often than not, Matt, I find is that before you change anything, for a lot of people, it's just being consistent with something. And we watch it all the time. I have a lot of people right now that we're just working on schedules. Like that's all we're doing in coaching. We're not. It's not about how do we go talk to people. It's about how do we talk to people consistently. It's not about how do you write the perfect handwritten note. It's how do you just get consistent with having handwritten notes go out the door. It's how do we have lunch with somebody? We're not worried about that. But how can you consistently have lunch with people in your database and connect with them? And you're right. What we watch is so many people, they'll have 1 week where they'll do lunches. They have another week where I did pretty good at phone calls this week. And oh, way to go. And then the next week, phone calls stung. I did great with notes this week. Well, okay, great. But like now we got 3 weeks where you did good with lunches 1 week. You did good with phone calls 1 week and you did good with notes the third week. All right. Like, can we like have a week where we like do it all consistently, like bring it all together? And that consistency is what keeps most people just kind of stuck in one area. And I do, Matt, you and I talked about this as we kind of, bring this whole thing together. I think there's the other side of it of like our industry. You go to conferences, you go to, this has been happening for longer than I've been in this. I've been in this game for 20 years. They put the top agent up on stage and they all go, Sally, all of you need to inspire to be Sally. Look at the numbers she's doing. Look at the income she's doing. Look at her growth. Oh, wow. And everybody goes, whoa, that's what I'm supposed to be. And some of us beat ourselves up. We get frustrated with ourselves because why can't I do that level? Why am I not going to that level? Why am I not? And I would encourage all of you to step back. As Matt mentioned earlier, is like, what do you want to build? What do you want to go to? Because not everybody, like for me in racing, not everybody wants to be at the front of the pack at a race in a $300,000 race car. There's a reason my track car costs $7,000 and I love every moment of it because I'm not trying to be that, but I am trying to go out and have fun and just improve and improve and improve. I'm not looking for a trophy at the end of this thing. And I think it's good to understand what are you trying to accomplish here, and you need to find joy in that journey, and it will make everything more fun, more entertaining. You'll laugh more, you'll smile more at the end of the day. But so many of us don't have a vision. We don't have a place we're going to. All we know is we're supposed to be like Sally because that's what the industry told us. And it's okay. It's okay that that doesn't have to be your vision, but you do need to create a vision for yourself. If you're lacking one, you can always sit there and go, damn it, but I'm supposed to be that. And
yeah. Way to go, Sally, by the way.
Sally, way to go. I've seen you on many stages. I know who you are. Well, man, okay. So thanks for kicking the Matt. Do you have anything else you want to add to this?
No, man, I think that's great. I think this is like a nice take it, deploy it. Let us know what you guys think about this. Drop comments, all the things. We want to hear from you because this is not a theoretical. I mean, this is kind of like a inspirational theoretical topic, but this directly ties to you taking action on this, and we want to hear what you do.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, feedback on it. You can go to YouTube, check us out there. If you have not subscribed on YouTube, remember, it doesn't cost you anything. All it does is help us. Just hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. The like button actually helps this thing get out to more people if you go do that. We'd love to be able to share our thoughts and our information with as many people as possible. We want to help as many people as we can. If you're interested on a bigger level of what we're doing internally, you can go grab our app, which is Life at 10 Tenths. You can, once you grab that app, you can make a decision of how deep you want to go into our world. You can grab the inside track that's like $10 a month, and you get all kinds of great little tidbits from us every single day. And then you can jump into the 11 circle, which is our group coaching, which we would love to have you be part of that. We had a coaching call the other day, Matt, with, 30 plus people on it. And it was awesome to bring everybody together, share ideas, share comments, bring some great discussions together. And I want to encourage all of you, if you want that in your world, if you want a great community and group of people that you can share referrals with, you can share ideas with, we have one person right now, they're going to put in their pre-listing packet in so everybody can see what that looks like and they can all share it internally. These are the things we got going on. We'd love to have you be a part of it. And anything you need, you know where to find us. So Matt, thank you. Thank you, everybody out there, and we will be back soon.
See you guys.